I got cut off. This network, Pazamisa. But we are here. We are here. We are moving ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, we are continuing with the show. I'm not sure why they disappear. I suspect network. But it's okay. Bar lawyer. Yesterday, there was a monkey which was terrorizing people here in my township. We were getting emails, we were getting phone calls during the night, and they wanted us to come and help. I don't know how do I help. If we can, like, what can I do? It's not even mine, but yeah, it's one of those things. We are continuing. This is Global Talk with Bishop Q. If you've just joined us, welcome. I've already done the greetings and ngibingelele kubogogo bomkhulu nina makhehla akudala nina nasidabulikhanda nasivula isifuba nasinikeza ubunyanga nafunga nagomela nathi thina siba indumandumane ezizweni. Let us also just take this opportunity ngihambe ngiyobingelela la ngidabuka khona ngimemeza omama kithi insizwa kaMashiyane goqotha insizwa kamkomise mkhulu shobe insizwa kamnyaka mkhulu Dunguma insizwa kaHlatshwayo gokuthumba insizwa kaCiboka sikoko mkhulu Manzana insizwa kaMlambo umthetho wanyambosa mzukulu waphuza igazi lamanye amadoda idade elidabula amanzi ngempiko nyona mhlophe ehlezi phezulu kwamalwandle nanazela abaningazi bempande dabula ikhanda vula isifuba ngisempandeni yami impande kaMajoy. I am very proud to be empandeni kaMajoy. Yes, obviously, as you grow, as you become a little bit, wise and started knowing other things, you start accepting and acknowledging as impande. But I'm just saying, this is where I come from, who have made sure that I become what I am. Today, we are talking about spiritual talk. We are answering questions about dreams, spiritual journey, and so forth. So just make sure that you get in touch with us. You connect with us from wherever that you might be. On Twitter, it's Bishop Q19. On Facebook, it's Bishop Q. Everywhere else is Bishop Q. You'll find me there. Talk to us. Communicate with us. Tell us your dreams, your visions, your ideas. But today, spiritually, we just wanted to focus on spiritual issues. Izinto zobunyanga, ezabogogo, people are having dreams and confusion and so forth. We are trying to answer as many as possible. Yes, we know that we get as many as possible, but particularly on this show, we normally select a few and start answering them. But don't be hesitant. Continue writing to us and talking to us. We are digging straight into it. We are starting with our first question for the day. It's from BK Munosi from Mpumalanga. He's asking, say, hey, why most of the time kuba abafazi abaphathwa umoya kanje? Because really I have never seen a man doing this. And one, I was in a church yomoya, and there was a lady next to me waphathwa umoya ngashifta wawa kabuhlungu umoya wakhula same time. Even umfundisi wangibuza after church wathi why ngingambambanga ngathi I wanted to see if it was real, because really, ladies, some of you niya exaggerator yo nifuna bathi ninomoya omkhulu. Siyabonga BK, he's from Mpumalanga. He was asking about men and women. Normally, women would look as if they get possessed more by the spirit, and why do their reaction is totally different, and we get into details of it. My focus is normally on spiritual people, but that doesn't mean that if you're not spiritually gifted that you cannot listen and watch the show. And secondly, for those who've been following my show, they will also tell you that I always make reference to everything around me from the Bible and the way we live. So if you've just joined us and you are not used to it, understand that I'll be picking up examples from everywhere, because in life you are taught from every angle. It does not matter from which angle are you coming from. So Munosi is asking about the spirituality of men and women and how does it differ. Remember also in the Bible, they say when they created man was the first person to come. And when God saw that the man is lonely, God created a woman out of a man. And yet their qualities, they are totally different. But remember, God teaches us that the man is much stronger. And that doesn't mean the woman is not stronger. She is strong, but she has parts that she's strong at. And also their responsibility in terms of mother nature is totally different. Remember that women, they are the bearers of babies. So automatically, their structure as well is totally different. So even spiritual as well, they possess more direction than us as men. We as men, we are there to give direction and leadership and so forth. But there are those women who also have almost the same character. But remember that for women who have that spirit, they will always pick it up differently, because that's how we were created. We were created differently. And it has nothing to do with that by exaggerator and so forth. But they get, if one day I'll get to teach about women in particular, that how were they built. Even though God says in the Bible, I'll get you a helper. Now remember, if I'm supposed to pick up this table and move it there, and it's very heavy, and I need somebody to help me, obviously I cannot get somebody who's weak to come and help me with the table. I need to get somebody who's strong, who's going to be able to take this table from this point A to point B. So the same thing also happens with women, that they are there in our lives to guide us, shape us, and give us direction and so forth. But yet the way they receive spirit, remember that because of their femininity, because they are the bearers of the egg, they have that, they chow a lot, like they take a lot from spirituality. So hence, whenever maba sedlozini, kuba ngathi they do it slightly much different than we guys. So remember that we are muscular, we are much stronger when we weigh things. But I assure you, my producer will also be listening to this, and I promise that one day I'll do a definite breakdown on the type of women that are spiritual and not, so that I give you details that how women are built and what does it mean when a woman is spiritual. But there is a difference, Monosi. There is a difference between male and tate. The way they receive their spirit, it's not going to be the same. It's going to be two totally different things. Ausitholofelo Petunia Ngwanasibuke. She says, please tell me more about fasting. Ausitholofelo Petunia, fasting, okay. Fasting, it's more like you want to talk to God, one. But yet when you talk to him, you need to show your grade of punctuality towards him. And by so doing, you need to give up something. So fasting, it was never about food. I'm going to repeat. Fasting, it was never about food. But fasting, it's more like giving away or letting go for a particular period the things that you love. There are people who fast with food and they go through a dry fast. A dry fast, that's when you don't put anything on your tongue and you spend a particular period of time. It does not have to be the whole day. But you can take a half a day and decide not to eat anything during that time. Some other people are able to drive it throughout the day. It also depends on the type of sicknesses that you have. People of my caliber who are diabetic, we are unable to do that because obviously it will affect your sugar levels and so forth. Remember that it's also a medication that you also take as well. Those are some of the things that you also need to consider as well. So there is that dry fast. I'll get to the prayer part in a moment. So there is that dry fast, and there is a fast where you are able to drink water on time to time basis or on full time basis. Throughout your fast, you just make sure that you quench as much water as possible, but food you don't eat. And there is a fast that we call a Daniel fast. A Daniel fast, it's when you eat almost everything, but you don't eat the meat. Yebo, inyama awuyidli for that particular period of fasting. So you stay for that period and you're not going to eat meat. You're going to have your normal time of eating, but you don't eat meat. Remember, in the book of Daniel, there was a time when they were imprisoned. And while they were in prison, there was a comparison which was done between Daniel, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. And they just wanted to prove a point to the people who were guiding them, saying, those guys, they claim that they are stronger than us. But we are only strong because of God. It has nothing to do with the food that we eat. But just to prove a point, give them the best food that we can get around this place. And you give us fruits and vegetables. And we eat those. And in 10 days' time, we're going to come back here and we're going to see between us and those particular men who is much stronger. And the people who are guarding jail and so forth, the warders, the warden warders, they took the chance and they went through the process. And it was unbelievable that after 10 days, Daniel and friends, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, they came much stronger as compared to the people who were eating meat. So it's all about also proving a point to God that you really want one thing that you are praying for, and you are willing to show dedication by giving up what you know you love. It's all about giving up what you love. There is an international campaign which is also Archbishop Tutu. They are also part of. We also endorsed it a couple of times, whereby they give up electricity. Jovan Kalangwe Eskom nje, nithi uyanicimela. They actually give up on electricity for a day. And you say stay for a day without using any appliances, anything that is electric. So during that day, they also pray as well to ask God for whatever that they would want to ask. So if you know that you love your cell phone, you cannot go without your cell phone. Mamela, I've seen Batu going to work, and on their way to work, they forgot their phone. People don't mind to turn back and get that phone. That's crazy. It simply shows that you are, I don't know how to put it, but it means you favor your phone more than anything else. But if you are able to lock away and leave your phone for a day and you fast with your phone, look, you've done great work. There are people who do it in different things to say, what is it that you can leave? There are people who fast also with sex, and they say, we are not going to have sex, baby, for the coming 7 days. Nix ma palaman, nix ma khwatan. And during that time, it's a fasting period. But remember, it has to be something that you love. So you cannot give up on something that you know that is weak, but it has to be something that you love. Praying. Now remember that during fasting, there is also the process of praying. For me, in particular, I'm very clear-headed about prayer times. But I don't like putting up time, especially when it comes to praying, because sometimes you put up time and say, I'm going to eat at a particular time. I'm going to start praying at 1 o'clock. And just 5 to 1, your little kid decides to break that thing that you love, your favorite dish and so forth. So by the time you go and start praying, your spirit and your mind and your feelings, they are no longer there. Now, my teachings and my advice normally to people, it says, don't put up time to pray. So if you feel like praying, just go on and pray. But just make sure that on that particular day that you decide that you are doing a fasting. So it means on that day you need to pray more often than any other time. So if you are used to pray for food only during supper, because during the day, the kota and chips and fish and tonton, you don't normally pray. But when you are doing your fasting, during that time, during that process, you make sure that you pray as much as possible. I don't like putting up time and say, we're going to pray 12:30 or 8 o'clock, because it also has everything to do with the devil as well. You know, if somebody wants to take you off track, it is much easier for them to do so because they actually know the time that you're going to pray. So if nobody knows, it's only you and your heart and God, you know that 8 o'clock you are praying. The evil one will not be able to know that, because it means around about 8, you'll be preparing yourself, and 8 o'clock, so you've started. So, fellow Petunia, I hope that I've answered your question in terms of fasting. I hope you start very well. Keep us updated. Tell us what went through. What did you see? Try and paying attention to your dreams. Try and paying attention to what's happening around you. I know some of us, they attract insects. I know some of us, they attract birds. I know some of us, they attract so many things that are different during the time of fasting. So just make sure that you continue talking to us, telling us what is the progress, when are you starting, for how long are you going to do it. Chances are that we might end up even joining you. This is Global Talk, Bishop Q, your favorite lunchtime talk show. Ntomba Xolo, gladness, Khotlang. Yeah, this is very interesting. The name on its own is Ntomba Xolo. It sounds closer to me. And then the middle name is gladness. That is something else. And the surname is Khotlang. That's more like Tswana. So I'm not sure, Gogo, that is she from the Eastern Cape or is she from the Northern Cape like she has written, but I don't know. But the question says, Thokozani Bokoko. I went to the river today. When I was there, I felt like someone is calling me. I had a flayed. What is it? If you're a spiritual person, that simply means unabalozi gogo. There is a spirit that we call abalozi. They normally work very closely with whistles, whistling, and birds. Anything that has a feather, you're going to be linked with it. So on time-to-time basis, try and listen and say, what is the flayed trying to say to me? Sometimes you are being called, sometimes you are being reminded, sometimes you are being pushed away. You need to be able to distinguish the difference between being called, being pushed away, and paying attention. Because sometimes it happens that it would ring, and when the whistle rings upon your ears, when you start looking around, you cannot find anything, or you cannot even see anybody else. It simply means the flayed was meant specifically for you. You need to start praying. You need to start being observant and looking around. Sometimes you are being told what to do, or you are being even chased away and so forth. Because remember, especially Manzini, that is one place that is very delicate, that you need to pay 120% attention. You should know when to go, when to leave, what needs to happen during your arrival and leave. Look, we've heard stories of people disappearing while they were there. And when you follow up on the story, they actually messed up, like they came unprepared and so forth. We were called to identify a body of one of them, he was not that old, but he took advantage of the altar to identify a body because we are told that he actually came with the wife and the young girl who was also pregnant as well. So they came along. As they got to the water, only to find out the young sister, she was still having a woman. She was still having a child, that woman. So she was still breastfeeding, and it was a problem. Because remember that while you're breastfeeding, you cannot go inside the water. So they went and did their deeds there and so forth. While they're still praying and so forth, everything changed. And they were found dead after a couple of days. And people were said that, yeah, this thing from the waters, it took our people and so forth, wara, wara. But the truth of the matter, they started it because they went there unprepared. So amanzi ayazilelwa. You wait and you pray before you go to the waters. So you don't just wake up and just go to the waters unless you have been in the zone. For some of us who have been training for a while, we normally get prepared on daily basis that anything's possible, so that we are as clean as we can. We are not perfect, but we try to be as clean as possible, so that you make sure that by the time you go to the waters, your head is clear, your mind is clear, your spirit is clear, your body is clear, everything is clean, and you're not taking advantage. So the whistle could only mean that unedlozi labaloti. So whenever you have idlozi labaloti, normally liyazikhupulela lona, it's almost like isithunya, but kunamagobongo akhona that you need to get. So depending that how far are you with your spiritual journey. If you haven't started, don't start ngamagobongo. They will just mess you up. So you need to go somewhere else. By the time you have started your journey, that is the only time you can start eating amagobongo. We know of people abathanda ukudla amagobongo noma bangekho ephehlweni. They will damage you. Ibhudlu negobongo, I don't care who says what. If ungekho ephehlweni, it will damage you. Don't start with it. You can only start if you've already started your spiritual journey. So that because the idea of you starting igobongo while you are under your own roof and doing it as a DIY, do it yourself project. You've just went to Faraday, Bagnigil, and you get home, you start doing those instructions. When you react, what's going to happen? You're on your own, you're sitting with your own kids. They told you to put it in a bucket, put water, speak like that. You start shaking those things and so forth. You start reacting. Who's going to help you? Now your poor kids have to stop playing La Pestrate. They need to run around and try to help you. So, Ntombakolo, Cleanness, Kutlang, I hope I have answered your question. Togoza Koko. This is Global Talk with Bishop Q. If you've just joined us, welcome. Wherever you might be joining us. Today we are focusing specifically on spiritual talk. So Musa Asipile Ngobese Tuzuma has written to us today and say, today I went to pray in the mountain, then I saw a guy and I did not see where he came from. But he said to me, I must not go far from other people, because ihlane these days alihlambulukile, kwenzeka izinto ezingekho right. Meaning the places that we normally go to in the mountains, it is no longer conducive. It is no longer safe. It is no longer a nice place where we can go pray, meditate, and so forth. Babungobese, Um, this is a very serious issue, Bazalwane. We are slowly and surely losing our places of worship, especially in the mountains and so forth. I think the only people who are still surviving, who are not having um, much of a problem, KmaZCC, merely because they go in groups, so it makes it much easier for them. But thina bangoma normally sithanda ukuhamba one ufuna ukuhamba neclient yami, I want to be seen and shining and what, and then I get robbed and I get marked and it becomes a problem. So we only go emanzini masoyidlisa intwaso or any other thing. But other than that, try and avoid going to the mountains by yourselves. It's no longer a right place. It's no longer a conducive place. It's no longer a nice place where you can pray and focus. Merely because of the things that are happening today, people are taking advantage. We know of people who normally even stay there just to wait for you to bring that money. By the time ulahlele imali emanzini or anywhere else, they rush and take that money. And that's why even nomhlaba, this is going to get me very emotional. But that's why we are even lost as an African nation, because the things that I am trying to cleanse myself with, the very same udoti, the things that come out of me cleansing, there are people who normally take those things and they want to use them the other way around. And there is no way that you can take the outcome of my cleansing and try to use it for your positivity or to gain anything. That's why today is a problem engaka yabonyaupe, who are full of the streets and they are everywhere else, merely because some of them, they go to those waters where we pray, where we cleanse and do those ceremonies to ubulala mabhadi nan. They get the chickens that we slaughter there, they get the money that we leave there. They even go to an extent of robbing us. I'm speaking from experience. I was also robbed as well. It was a couple of years ago, and it traumatized me, even the people that I was traveling with. And I was a little bit scared, but not scared for me. But my problem was the people that I was traveling with, because the problem was that it was very possible that they could have hurt any of the people that I was traveling with. So I had to make sure that I secure them. So Musa, Babu Ngobese, siyabonga kakhulu to raise this. I will dwell into it a little bit deeper, probably in a week or so, but it's no longer a safe place. If singabangoma, if besisebenzisana kukhona ukuzwana, it was very easy for us to combine the money and buy a place that, secure a nice place that has water and everything, and be able to go there on time to time basis to go and pray and do whatever, and we know that place is secured. But merely because we are working with individuals, we cannot do it. So it's gonna take us a very long time for us to reach that standard. So Babu Ngobese, KZN Rally Wantat. Dipuo aus Stephanie says Thokozani Khanya Makhosi Ndawe Kamagu. I would like to know, can wishes make you to dream about idlozi things, to make you believe that you have idlozi, while not simply because they want to harm you or your life? I would wait for your answer. I'm answering you, Stephanie. It's impossible, even though they are capable of it. But you need to be able to distinguish a dream. You need to pay attention to your dream. Maupupa, you need to pay attention, like details. Look at the details, because you come to us and say Mkhulu ngiphuphile, and I would listen to those particular details because that's where the story lies. But it's highly impossible that isipogo singakwenza ukuthi uphuphe. They have tried, but ultimately they get caught. I'm not sure if I'm making sense, because their dreams, they are normally not as clear as those dreams that we where we find amaphupho khona, because amaphupho ethu are pure, clean. The snakes are colorful, everything is bright and so forth. But anything that has to do with the darkness as well, before they even arrive, before they even try a chance, those witches, Abogogo, they would have told you already that be careful of such a thing that's going to happen. One. Two, you get to a person who can speak spiritual stuff, they'll be able to advise you and say, don't take this. This Aibui Kuba. One other thing is well that would also help as well. It's also cleansing yourself. I'll repeat this until Jesus comes. Cleanse yourself, cleanse yourself, cleanse yourself. You could use pure water. You can use umlota, that is ash. You can use chlove salt. You can just pray for water, but continue cleansing yourself, because some other time you get that you don't drink enough water, you don't relax, you are stressful about some other things. By the time you sleep, you don't sleep properly, you are even unable to listen appropriately and so forth. So it becomes a problem, Bazalwane. So let us try to make sure that we cleanse ourselves. And very importantly, some other lady, Ausin Tabiseng, requested me the other day and said I should mention that spiritual partners, stop having 7 people. Labu Jola Nabo, Ujola no Temba no Tabo. There is a song like that, by the way. Ujola no Tabo, no Jeff, no Banban, no Banban, and you expect that when you sleep with them every day, you think everything's gonna be fine. It's not gonna happen. Thokozani bantwana bedlozi, nginenkinga yazi ngingathanda ukuconnecta nabazali bam kodwa angikhoni. Kudala ngiphahla, ngikhanyisa amakhandlela, ngithandaza ngama-coke kodwa coke, that's wrong. Number one, ngithandaza ngama-coke kodwa akuna lutho. Into engizwisa ubuhlungu manje ukuthi bakhabo baba wami bayangibanga nabakhabo mama, and inkinga ukuthi bakhabo baba angibazi kwasanabo nobaba washona qeda ukuzalwa. Sorry about your father. Bakithi ngicela ukubuza ngingayenza njani. Thokozani. She did not even write her name. Correction number 1, we don't use Coke, we use Fanta. You need to find a spiritual person to walk with you. Meaning kwamele uhambe uyohlola, mawuqeda ukuhlola akugeze. Very important, because sometimes the older people, they are trying to connect with you, but because when you have mud all over, I'm going to give you a typical example and say you have mud all over, even in your ears, it makes it impossible even for the elder people to come and speak to you, because uvalelekile la ukhona. You also have to check your environment la uhlala khona and check if things are still okay la uhlala khona. And Kabo Baba is not even such a big thing that Kabo Baba awubazi ubaba washona usasemncane. You are able to go endaweni ezifana nabo emhlangeni, but that is after the entire process has been done. Uthola umuntu osebenza ngabantu akuthatha akusemhlangeni ayokwenzisa insebenzo yasemhlangeni ngaphakathi. I tell you, you'll come back and give me a hand. Your forefathers from your father's side, they will show up and they will help you out. Endabeni yombango, you need to go where indlela ziphambana khona uhambe uyophahla nalapho, but it also depends ukuthi ungubani, biya kwiliphi ilizwe, meaning inkaba yakho ikuphi, because remember that I cannot advise the person who stays in Natal with the same advice that I would give for somebody who stays in Lesotho or Northwest. So kwamele sicheke nesigini, to say are you Zulu, are you Tsonga, are you Venda, so that you're able to say, because arguably abanye abantu bayakwazi ukusebenzisa itiye elimnyama, so that you sit la kuphambana khona indlela, nenza itiye elimnyama, drink, share, have bread. Very importantly, have bread, full bread, umbago, the one that we normally buy where we used to have Pick and Pay. So those things, they are very important as well. But it's a procedure that it needs you need a guidance. You cannot do it by yourself. And I have a problem with people trying to do ama-DIY. Edlozini akuna-DIY, akuna do it yourself la. Ayikho. I can tell you today and say ukweleta umsebenzi wembuzi. Then you rush uthenga imbuzi bese ngithambo uyibika. Uthatha umfazi wakho ufaka amabhokadi nihamba nemathuneni bese nifuna ukuyophahla. That is wrong, number one. Uyangelanga wrong, uyangesikhathi esi-wrong, akekho umuntu onikhaphile lapho. You come back, imbuzi yakhona niyikhulumisanga, you are not sure ngini ukuthi nisebenzisa isniff or nisebenzisa i-BB or nisebenzisa umlotha or nisebenzisa amalahle. There are things that we need to go and discover first, because the sooner we know those things, then we are able to guide you. So there is no way that you can do a DIY in Zedlos, that you can go and buy whatever and you can do it at your house. If I say to you, Hambo yenza umsebenzi wabantu abadala, I need to be there as well, so that I'm able to guide you throughout the process, so that I'm able to see that are you doing things properly. Because some other time, even during the process, there are things that they can go wrong. There are things that Idlos could decide to change in the process. What do you do? So if you don't have anybody to guide you, you are on your own. You'll never even know those things, because we know you're not even spiritually gifted. So Edlozini, we don't have DIY. Go and get umuntu wedlozi osebenza ngayo. We are not even sure where you stay. Bengizokulakelela ngithi ngikulekelela ngithi you can come through to us and then sibone ukuthi ukusiza kanjani. But wherever you are, I know ukuthi kukhona umngoma okhona lapho. Just to make it worse, there is an old lady. Look, you did not even give me a name, but I can see an old lady. She's very huge ngomzimba. Uthanda ukufaka isishweshwe. Go to that woman, find her. She will help you. God bless you. We are moving on. Global Talk, Bishop Q. This is spiritual talk where we discuss issues. So make sure that you continue talking to us, continue shining to us. What is it that you have dreamt about? If kuyenzeka that usephehlweni, don't write to me. I don't answer people abasephehlweni. You can eat. I don't answer people abasephehlweni. If usephehlweni, you need to get hold of ugobela wakho. Uyumuntu kamele akusize. I mean, I don't help people abasephehlweni unless bayakuhlukumeza, bayakurapa, unless bakuphatha kabi. Then that's the only time I can intervene. But I've stopped a lot of young people and young girls who wanted to talk to us. We are continuing. We are asking spiritual questions. Four more questions to go. Let us see. Maybe yours is the next one. Lamar Anderson. Okay. Says Tokozani, I have a problem that I am failing to understand. I beg for clarity. Okay. My family once called a prophet to come and cleanse us and our home. He instructed me to help them with the cleansing. And when it was my turn to get cleansed, he said it is not even necessary. No one can harm me, meaning I'm fine without being cleansed. This frustrated me because I don't understand how possible it is Hence, I'm worried because I'm also human. What could this mean, Thokozani? Some, I also want you to, I would love to get details of what transpired during the cleansing. I can tell you now out of my head, the cleansing process was wrong. I can tell you now today, look, you don't have to come to me. You can just go down the road. There is an old man just towards on the right hand side, where you stay. I'm being shown an old man. He's tall. He has a little bit of white beard. That man will help you out because that cleansing was wrong. That guy was there for money. He used something that he overheard somewhere, and he came also Sagini, where you stay, Mr. Anderson. So hence there was that confusion because you are connected with our Gogo. You have a gift of the spirit. But the problem is that you haven't started your journey. But the problem is that the prophet who came to your house realized that if he could touch you with that wrong stuff that he brought, it was going to bring something else. Um, get in touch with me, inbox us. Our team will be waiting for your information, Mr. Anderson. Then I will be able to give you details because some of the details I cannot even say them here on the show because some of them they're a little bit deep and they involve some of your family members and so forth. So just make sure that you get in touch with us and then we'll take it from there. Thokozani Tate Lama Anderson from but you'll never even get them. I know that one of the posts somebody was asking me about the hand that itches. Yes, it's not a myth. If your hand itches, you are gonna get paid. But are you clean? You need to make sure that you are clean, spiritually clean, mentally clean, all kinds. Are you clean? Are you clear? Are you praying? Have you been taking stuff and so forth? Because remember that sometimes you are being shown luck, but your luck is staying somewhere else. For you to be able to access it, there is another thing that needs to be done. And you can only pick up the instruction if you are clean. Because if you are not, to me, you look like a car that has mud all over. How do you drive a car that has mud? Or it happens that you have mud in your ears. Yes, you can see with your naked eye that there is money that I need to get. But there are instructions that lead to you to go towards getting that money. But if you've got mud in your ears and you're not clean, you're not going to be able to see it. You will keep on dreaming that money over and over and over and over. So, Cody, my friend, just make sure that you go and cleanse yourself. You can just do it with pure water. You can also do it with ash. You can also do it with rough salt. Just put it inside the water and start praying. Get a white candle. Ningisiza bantwana benkosi. If you have not started your journey, use a white candle. The colors, leave it to those that have started the journey. The same thing also happens with beads as well. You cannot, I'm not sure how far can I emphasize this. You cannot use colored beads merely because you haven't started the journey. Because you using colored beads, it's more like you're taking a stethoscope or you're taking epaulets and putting them on, yet you are not qualified. That thing, it will mess you up. Cody, make sure that you clean yourself, and then you'll be able to pick up further instructions of where this treasure is at. Please remember us. If you find it, please give us some money as well. Have a lovely day. Sipamandla Buthelezi ushenge. Thokozani bogogo nomkhulu, ngisacela ukubuza la uma uhlushwa amazinyo ankenkethayo onke ngenza ngezansi nangenhla. This is Zulu. Nangenhla, meaning below and up. What happens? A problem with your aching teeth. Kusuke kuyini? Thokozani mkhulu, and thanks for the lovely show. Siyabonga Shenga. Amazinyo, if asiqale la ngizoyibeka under general, but angikhulumi now. If you're a spiritual person and uphathwa amazinyo, idlozi lomndawo. And if you're not gonna start paying attention to your gift, uzo end up aphuma lamazinyo. Ngicedile Shenga. Go and start your journey, Shenga. Abantu bakini bayakubiza. There's yabona yakho futhi I won't go further ngidiscuss into engazazi. Ekhaya bayakubiza unedlozi lomndawo. Go and ask your uncle, umntana kabo mamakho will take you along and show you and guide you what is it that you need to do. And normally sine tendency ukuthi normally pick up ama-signs. We think with sometimes ukugula kuloko normal. Sometimes you'd go to the clinic and find out ukuthi they cannot identify the problem. Remember, this thing, it's more like a balance. Ihamba kanje bazalwane. If you go to a clinic, they did not find anything. It simply means that thing, it was not meant for the clinic. It has to come to this clinic. This clinic. And if Tina Squaz Guibona anything, it means yes, you need to go to the white man and get assistance from there. Very quickly, I'm told that there is a lady Opetwe isibeleto. Sibhlungu kuba ngathi siyaphenduka. And she's about to be admitted within the coming 2 days. Kuthiwa ngimtshele, kuthiwa wase-Vryheid. I'm not sure who's from Vryheid watching this show. Kuthiwa unenkinga yesibeleto. She's going to be admitted the way sipeyina ngakhona. And mafika esibhedlela bazofika bakutshele what you growth, because doctors, they have that tendency of changing our diagnosis issues into something yabe English. So they're gonna say une growth and bazofuna operate. Once banga operator, you're gonna die. So just make sure that you get to the nearest umama omdala osebenza ngento zesintu uzokwenzela imbiza yokuphuza, and then mase uyiphuzile, as time goes on izokwazi ukuthi clean and you'll be able to move along. So make sure that uyayithola le mbiza leyo, it's able to clean you, because if you are not going to do that, isibeletho lesizokwenzela inkinga and kuyohlala kuphenduka every time. So just make sure to get that. Right, last one. Bongekile Kamkile Dlamini sanibonani edlozini bahlati ngiphuphe umswati ke lo ngiphuphe ngikomunye umuzi ngasekhaya bekunosisi wakuleli khaya ozile like uyagula abangekho abengakhoni nokuhamba. Okay, but kusenjalo ngivukwe lidloti ngabhodla, then bese ngiyakhala ngitshela lo sisi ukuthi why agula. Madlamini unedloti. I hope you have already started your journey, because kimi ngokubona ngathi umuntu usadidizela usarounda kimi ubukeka njengomuntu ngathi usabalabala, and liyakuhlupha ledloti because ukuya ngeschedule yabantu abadala, you're supposed to have finished by now, you're supposed to be somewhere else. So ngalesikhathi samanje bukwamele ukuthi sokuqalile ukusebenza abantu, ingakho emaphupheni sebazoqala bakuphuphise ama-client wakho and azoza ngobuningi nangamandla, even though ubuningi babo kuzoba abantu besimame batofuna ukuthi wena ubaside, but inkinga ukuthi if you haven't started your journey, this is gonna pile up and it's gonna have a problem intweni zakho zedlozi. So siyacela ke Madlamini, hambe ulungisa izinto zakho, because lo mage lo utawushona lo uthi umbona afika angakwazi nokuhamba, kuba ngathi unento ekuthiwa umbhulelo, ukuba ngathi into ayinyathelile, kwamele hambe uyokhishwa lento leyo, and angeke akwazi ukuzikhiphela, and noma uhamba waye emntwini kuyoba nzimanyana, because kahle kahle it means wena nalo sithi senenzwe ukuthi nikwazi ukucommunicate nasedlozini, ukuthi uwe okwazi ukumthinta bese uyaphola. So if angasizwanga uwe uzawufa, and makafile sizawubuza wena gogo. Hamba Madlamini uyolungisa izinto zasekhaya. If you are not sure, connect with us, talk to us. This is Global Talk on Bishop Q. Usibuze la kwamele kuyolunga khona, so kunyakazisa la kwamele kunyakaze khona. That is as far as we have my questions for today. We are already done for today. Ngibongile kakhulu kubogogo bomkhulu kusumagumbane bomhlaba, ngicela ukuthi nibuthane la nikhona nithandane abantwana bedlozi. I want to start probably a session where abantwana bamangoma siyaqala ukusebenzisana. I don't care ukuthi ubuya kwephi impande, but siqale sisebenzisane. I mean, all the other people are working together, and yithi kuphela siyahluleka ukuthi sihlanganyele sisebenzise sonke. Every time akwamele sisebenze umsebenzi wedlozi, we always want to shine, we always want to look much better than abanye abantu, kuba ngathi sisafuna ukushayinelana emsebenzini wedlozi, but yet iyasihlula lento leyo, because sohlala sibukana kabi kanti umsebenzi into usalele emuva. Remember, I've always preached this and say, mawumntwana wedlozi, you need to be honest, you need to be faithful, kwamele wente kahle, and mawuqhubekile wenzela abanye abantu ubuhle, nabo lobuhle lobo buyakwati ukuthi bubuyele kuwe. Akube khona ukuzwana nokusebenzisana. I've always said ukuthi mawumntwana wedlozi, remember that you don't have everything, you don't know everything. There are things that you don't know, and you'll definitely get them from other people as well. So ihamba kanjalo lento le ukuthi nami okuncane lobo ngibaziyo, I need to present it on the table. Abaziyo abanye bazi the other part, so it's more like a puzzle that you put together, and if all of us could come together as a puzzle, would complete it. I mean, izinto lezi zasehlane that I've touched on, inkinga zamanzi and everything, some other things will be able to cover those challenges, but provided that we work as a team, we are not working as individuals, and that's how we would grow. Ngokusho njalo ngibongile bogogo bomkhulu, ngibongile namakhehla, ngibongile nabantu abadala. Ngiyavusela ngaphethanga lutho namakhehla amakhulu kusumagumbane bomhlaba, ngisho khona eMpumalanga, eNtshonalanga, eNyakatho, eNingizimu, phansi nendawo phezulu entabeni akhithima khona ukhozi phakathi kwamalwandle emabhaceni endlela memezane nabogogo bomkhulu. Ngibongile namakhehla, ngibongile indlondlo enkulu la thina sidabuka khona namakhehla memezane noma mkithi insizwa kamashiyani koqotho yonza ngombisa khulu shobe insizwa kamnyaka mkhulu ngomanzi zikahlatshwa kokuthumba zacubazo koko mkhulu manzana insizwa kamlambo umthetho kanyamba somzukulu wapho sigazi lamanye madoda idatha elidabula amazi ngempuku nyelo mhlophe ihlezi phezu komalwandle nanazela abanikazi bempande double ikhanda full isifuba habe sengisempandeni yami impande kamajoy ngibongile namakhehla amakhulu ngithi indaba ezitha amajoy umthunzi omuhle sibuye wena wanenga wabulala inyoka wayibeka endleleni wathi thina onana insizwa kaDube isilwane sasempumalanga uvela bahleke kuthi sodla ngayo nathi sabongana namakhehla amakhulu thokozane ndawoni shewe sibongile bafowethu sibongile bogogo bomkhulu la nidabuka nikhona kusukuma gumbani womhlaba sithi sibongile namakhehla continue smiling continue doing for the next people same thing will happen to you we love you we see you on Friday when we have another talk show, the best during the day, your favorite lunchtime talk show. Bishop Q, I'm out.